NAI Hall of Famers Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
The Jason Walker Show, presented by Helena Accommodations. The in-town 5-star extended stay residences. Visit HelenaAccommodations.com. Broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave, here's Jason Walker.
Yo, happy Thursday. The Jason Walker Show coming to you live on the Facebook.com/The Jason Walker Show. It is also on YouTube. Just search The Jason Walker Show. It's also on Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com. All live and happening now. Big show today. Cannot wait to get started. We're going to talk to Mark Adams. He used to coach at Rocky Mountain College back in the 80s against Kelvin Sampson when Adams was at Rocky and Sampson was at Tech. Now he's an ESPN college basketball analyst, and he'll join us coming up to talk about the world of sports at this moment. He also has a book out. Looking forward to reading it. And coming up in about 40 minutes or so, the first interview that I think anybody's done with Jesse Davis. How's he recovering from his injury, which was, about 50 days ago? When does he get to go home? You'll find out. And a whole lot more coming up on a Thursday. Tomorrow, big show as well, so can't wait to get going there. We are having a little bit of internet issues, so you'll have to just bear with us. But we will get everything perfect before the end of everything. All right, let's start with what's going on. We have On This Day in History coming up too. But let's more cancellations. The longest running PBR event in Billings has been canceled, which is brutal. PBR announced today that the April 17th through the 19th event, the Billings Invitational at Metro Park, was canceled. Saying because, quote, in light of U.S. and global health authority guidelines regarding COVID-19, end quote. Adding that they are, tickets are refundable, all of that. But it ends a streak of 24 consecutive PBRs in the Magic City. And it's tough, this world we're living in from last week. The NAI Women's Tournament, which was supposed to start yesterday, supposed to be in the second day of round one today. Cher concert, which was scheduled for April 26th, which was the week after PBR, is now moved to October. At least that was able to get rescheduled, I guess. I'd rather have the PBR rescheduled than Cher, but hey, whatever. The Montana Open Youth Wrestling Tournament for this week, for next weekend, also has been canceled, and that is a fantastic event. But you look at where they're moving. It's what they're losing. It's tough. PBR also announcing cancellations in Sioux Falls and Albuquerque. A lot of Velocity Tour events canceled as well and postponed. It's just the world we live in right now, and it's crazy. And, it's not going to get any easier anytime soon. So, we're just where we're at, basically. Let's see, what else is going on? Mike Person, Glendive, Red Devil, and also former Montana State University Bobcat, started in the Super Bowl, offensive lineman for the San Francisco 49ers. He was cut today. And Adam Schefter first reported it, but yeah, it's hopefully he'll hook on somewhere else. Started 33 games the last couple of years for the 49ers, including the Super Bowl last month. And hopefully he, like I said, gets hooked up somewhere else because he's a 9-year vet. He's been very, very consistent. And best of luck to Mike moving forward. All right, let's move on to the word reasonable from previous NAI rules that allowed athletes, quote, reasonable compensation for use of name, image, and likeness, end quote. Now, President and CEO Jim Carr said it would be difficult for the organization to, quote, determine what's reasonable and what's not going forward. So these athletes in the NAI could earn some outside compensation, which is a lot different than NAI or NCAA. And we're aware of the internet issues, and there's a lot of internet going on, more so now than there has been. You got all these students and teachers working from home, bless their hearts. So internet has been cranked up a little bit, but we're working on it. Just bear with us. All right, we're doing what we can to keep going. But you go to the NAI. Back to this. The NCAA is wanting to maybe do something, but the NAI legislation is similar to the California law that is set to go into effect in 3 years in 2023. So limited restrictions and in allowing athletes to have an agent. Now, if this measure passes, the NAI would be the first college organization to allow athletes to earn money from outside entities based on their notoriety. That in Kansas City, April 1st, but because of COVID-19, that meeting probably will take place online. Now, this legislation needs to be passed by a simple majority of delegates representing 251 schools. So there you go. We talked about the PBR being the longest running event in Billings. For the PBR Billings was the longest running PBR event. Well, the NAI, by canceling this week's NAI tournament in Kansas City, the nation's longest continuously running basketball tournament came to an end. How crazy is that? Because there's no tournament. It started in 1937, 2 years before the NCAA. So it went NAI in 37, the NIT in 38, and then 1939, the NCAA tournament began. How about that? It's a fantastic tournament, and hopefully it's back next year. And granted, it's going to be in a much different capacity, but like I said, bear with us, dealing with some internet issues, but aren't we all? And if that's the minor part of our issue for today, then we'll be all right. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by a college basketball analyst, former Rocky Mountain College basketball coach, Mark Adams will join us. He's got a new book coming out, and I want to talk to him, too, about college basketball and what's next as we move forward is uncharted territory here. Nobody's been dealing with this, ever, and we'll figure out maybe how we can with Mark Adams next. Jason Walker Show. Stay with us.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage Team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals. Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
All right. Welcome back. Jason Walker Show, Major Mortgage Man Cave. Not sure what happened to our music. It's kind of one of those days, it seems like. It seems like it's a Monday right now as we are dealing with internet issues. We're dealing with a whole lot of stuff. And bear with us if you're watching on Facebook. I promise we'll be fine. We just have to get through it. And, like I said, there's a lot more people online right now because of all the teaching at home. And so we're dealing with a lot of stuff that we're not used to, right? Although we're used to dealing with internet issues because that happens all the time, especially here in Montana because we're still considered rural, I guess. Anyway, still to come here in about half hour or so, Jesse Davis will join us. And I believe it is his first interview since being released from the hospital. And I think it's his first interview at all since being injured in a horrific accident down in Utah about 50 days ago or so. And he will join us coming up in about a half an hour. So you'll want to stick around for that. His injury, how much does he remember from the accident? And what's his rehab like, not just physically, but mentally, as you work back from a tough injury like that. Set to have Mark Adams join us. Waiting, we're efforting to get him on, and hopefully he gets back to us. I don't know if you saw this, but New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton tested positive for COVID-19. His results came out today. He started feeling sick Sunday, took a test Monday. He's in obviously quarantine, and he's trying to stay away from people. And he's tired, but he doesn't have the cough or the fever, but he does have COVID-19. So they believe he's the first NFL person to get the COVID-19. Of course, lots in the NBA, and I haven't heard of any from the NHL yet. We did get good news yesterday from MSUB, and that is the two players that were being tested for the softball team tested negative. So that's a great positive as well. So there you go. We know that the Frontier yesterday canceled its spring sports season, the NCAA, the NAI. I mean, they're all just cancellations, and we're still waiting for Montana High School Association because they think by April 13th that they'll be able to get their sports seasons in, and they're just delaying the inevitable. So we're just going to keep hammering on them until they actually come to their senses and cancel the season. Now, I'm not advocating for the end of the season just to be a jerk. I'm advocating because that's what literally everybody else is doing, is canceling. And you're delaying the inevitable. You're giving these kids hope. I love high school sports. That's the majority of what we talk about here on the Jason Walker Show, is high school activities and high school sports. But when you have an entity that is not being the smartest, in my opinion, I'm going to call them out on it. And I don't think they should have continued through Friday, the MHSA state tournaments. I think they either should have canceled on Wednesday night or on Thursday immediately, once they found out that literally everybody else was canceling. I don't know what they thought, because there were no confirmed cases in the state of Montana, but as we are finding out, it was already here. And we're going to find out who is sick moving forward at those tournaments. But what do I know? I'm just a talk show host, so I don't know much. It's amazing to see how many people do have, on social media, have doctor's degrees, though. I didn't realize how many friends of mine were MDs. It's amazing. It really is. I had no idea. But like I said, what do I know? MHSA knows a lot more than a bunch of doctors and NCAA and NAI people too. So, hey, there you go. And I get it. I've lost followers and friends on Facebook and Twitter over the last week because of my thoughts. And like I said last week, I can have my opinion, you can have yours, but apparently mine can only fit yours. So what if we're both wrong? And what if we're both right? Why can't we all just get along, right? We do have On This Day in History coming up. So we'll get to that. There's a lot that happened on this day in history. Still trying to effort Mark Adams, the former Rocky coach and current ESPN college basketball analyst. So we know this has affected a lot of different stuff, sports-wise. I did see online today, though, that I think it was in Washington, the places that are safe to hang out that you don't have to worry about, golf courses. So a great idea, go out to Green Meadow Country Club, get signed up, tell them you heard it or saw it on the Jason Walker Show, become a member, and, as long as, because you can't golf with more than 5 in a group, so we're okay to get it. We get in under that 10, right? I think you should become a member. And not just for a multitude. I mean, there's tons of reasons. You get unbelievable food, okay? The lounge / dining room area are separate. So if you want to watch sports, you can. If you want a quiet meal, you can. There are so many different activities that go on. And now, right now, things are being pushed back, like karaoke, which was sold for next week. But they'll have it again. And you and your family, once the weather warms up after Memorial Day, are going to love the pool. And like I've said, you can go with me golfing while the family and kids hang out at the pool, or we can hang out at the pool and with the kids and let the others go golf. I mean, it's cool. It's a great place to be. Friendly staff, and everybody knows your name. It's fantastic. Green Meadow Country Club. Go out there, tell them you saw it on the Jason Walker Show, and we will become friends. Okay? Getting a call. Looks like this will be Mark Adams, as we welcome Mr. Adams onto the Jason Walker Show. Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. How are you, sir? Oh, let me switch it over to the board. It's almost like I forgot I know what I'm doing, or how to do it. Mark Adams, how are you?
Good. I'm sorry I'm late.
No worries. Appreciate you joining us on a weird kind of time frame. When you and I spoke for the first time, it was about a year ago. We were in Billings. You were speaking at the Tuesday night before the tournament started. And man, what a difference a year has made.
You know, it really has. And of course, it's changed all over the country, you know, and just really day by day, things change dramatically. And you just gotta be, you know, be able to adjust, I guess.
Were you with the tournament at the time, or when everything canceled with the American Athletic Conference, or was your tournament over?
No, I was down in Fort Worth and flew down there on Wednesday morning. I mean, just think about how much 1 week makes a difference. And so I was down there ready to go, had all my game notes ready. And all of a sudden we heard that, you know, we knew that the Ivy League had canceled their tournament. And then the governor of Ohio had basically said there's going to be no fans at the Cleveland NCAA site or at the First Four in Dayton. And that's really when the dominoes started falling really fast. And then by Thursday morning, we were literally hours before going on air. And, you know, then it was announced that the American tournament had been canceled along with many others.
It just amazes me over the course of about 48 hours how quickly everything happened. And, you know, we knew about the Ivy League and everybody was overreacting or thought we were overreacting. And then all of a sudden, literally every conference cancels. And then NAIA tournaments are canceled. And then the NCAA March Madness. I mean, nobody ever thought that would happen, but it blows my mind at how quickly it all happened. Have you had a chance to sit back and think, wow, I mean, where we were Tuesday from last week to Thursday of this week?
People in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I felt like, you know, they must know something that I don't, which is the norm for people in the Ivy League versus me. But that really got my attention at that point. And then, you know, there was some backlash on that. People were saying, like when the American canceled and people were disappointed, and there was some short-term backlash from that. And I started thinking about my mom, who's 89 years old. And I thought, you know what, if this is the sacrifice we need to make to protect the greatest generation, then I'm all in. And then it was just a matter of trying to get home. I had a good friend of mine, and he goes, well, Mark, you live in Cincinnati, I live in Chicago, we'll carpool together, you know? And everybody at the table made arrangements for that in case we couldn't get home. Wow. Well, we obviously did get flights home, but that was another experience, just getting home, because, you know, there's people around you, and how people make their decisions to get on an airplane at that point in time, you know, hacking away and everything else, I have no idea. But that was also alarming to me. So, and then to today, you know, where basically me and my family we're just hunkering down. You know, that's the way it is. And again, if that's what it means to save people from the greatest generation, I'm all in.
Absolutely. Mark Adams joining us, former Rocky Mountain College coach, also ESPN college basketball analyst. And before we talk about your book, which it sounds very interesting, how long do you think this is going to go, Mark? Because I don't think any of us really have an idea.
No, we don't, you know, and I think we've got to be creative now. I mean, I work, my other full-time job is in the technology sector. I sell software testing and things like that. And, you know, now there's a new normal, right? And the quicker that we can understand the new normal and then act accordingly with the new normal, then that's going to help everybody, financially, personally, psychologically, you know, in every way. And, you know, I see things going on now in the technology sector where people are really working hard to connect. I mean, major companies that are sending their employees home and, you know, already have built-in ways to connect with the organization, you know, and then there's the video conferencing, which I've done more of those in the last 3 or 4 days than I've done probably in the last 10 years. And so I don't know how long it's going to last, but I know this, I better change. You know, I better understand, try to educate myself the best that I can. And then I need to understand how can I adapt and how can we work together in a different format to adapt and still build the right type of culture, even though you're only connected electronically. And so those are some things that I'm doing in order to help myself and my family and our business teams to be successful during this you know, radical downturn, because there's a lot of people losing their jobs. And believe me, I'm aware of that, and it could happen to me and everybody else as well.
Mark Adams joining us, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. You mentioned your mom, who's 89, and everybody's been talking about this
the elderly high risk. Well, it's your niece too that you have to worry about too, and Marissa Van Atta down at Rocky, and how she's immunocompromised as well. It's not just the elderly; it's youngsters as well. I mean, and that's scary.
Well, and the other thing is too, we all have the opportunity is the wrong word, but we all can carry the virus to someone else, and that's why it's so important for people to take it seriously and not go to bars and restaurants. And listen, my oldest son, his business is all around bars and restaurants, and today had to lay off 60 people because in Ohio they've shut everything down with bars and restaurants. The good news is Marissa, I mean, she's not compromised now. She's back to full health and has really just tremendous bounce back. But I worry about her and everybody else. It's just one of those things.
You go back to like the 50s now, and we actually get to have dinner conversations. We're not worried about, I got to be done so I can watch this game or I can get to here.
Yeah.
Now we get to hang out with our families again, and I think that's going to be the best thing maybe that comes out of this whole deal.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, I mean, I'm so grateful to ESPN. I mean, the way that they handled everything with us, there's no punitive type of damage with us not doing games and that type of thing. And, it's such a first-class organization, and I'm grateful for that. And then I am grateful for the time that I can be home. Now, I have an office in my backyard where I typically work anyway, so I've really got a very, very unique, and I cherish that situation. But to spend time with my son, Rob, like that, and like today, I took lunch break, and we went out to the garage. It was raining, but, we were able to stand in the garage. I put up the hitting net, and we hit some baseballs,
Nice.
And we're doing that literally every single day because someday that kid's going to play baseball again. That's his love. And right now the season is not going to take place. And we've had that conversation, but that doesn't mean that a father and son can't have some fun together. And that's the way we've looked at it.
That's fantastic. Mark Adams, our guest here. All right, let's chat about this book. And I didn't know you had written one until we were messaging back and forth, but it's called The Coach and the Geek. What's it about? I mean, I'd love to check this book out.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. And it is nice to get to talk about it. I've never written a fiction before. I've written some other books, very short, kind of based on some short stories. All of them were factual, though. And so I'm driving down the highway one day with actually the gentleman that owns Lighthouse Technologies, our software testing company. He's a dear friend of mine. And he started asking about how did you hold teams accountable when you weren't very good? He said, like your first year at Rocky, I'm sure you weren't very good, or your first year at Western Oregon or Central Connecticut. And he said, how did you hold them accountable when you knew you weren't going to win as many games as you were the next year or the year after that? And I told him about a strategy that I had developed throughout and the title of the book is The Coach and the Geek, Building a Kick Butt Culture by Mark Adams and Jeff Van Fleet. And obviously, I'm the coach and he's the geek. And it's out there right now. It's $17.95 on Amazon.com. Kindle, I think, is $9.95. And I hope people will take time to really, especially during this time. Every chapter, it's 170 pages. It's a quick read. And every chapter has a lessons learned from every single chapter that can apply to your personal life or your professional and business life. And I really hope, some of my friends and Billings around the state of Montana will take some time to take a look at the Bozeman Tech team. And it's based a little bit on some of the stuff I did at Rocky, by the way. So while it's fiction, there are definitely some true parts of the story. And I think people will recognize some of that as well and have some fun with it.
Well, let me ask you a final question. How would you, as a coach, have handled the cancellation of a tournament going in as a 3 seed, a 4 seed, or a 5 seed, whatever it was, and with some seniors that on that team that are never going to play again? And then everybody's talking about seniors, but the underclassmen, their season ended too. And how would you have handled that as a coach?
Well, I think I would have handled like any other human. There would have been the initial disappointment. I mean, obviously, that's a hard message to carry on to a bunch of guys and gals that have worked so hard. I think back to a year ago when we first met and first talked, and how special the women's national NAIA basketball tournament was in Billings. And I got to look in their eyes and see how excited they were to play in some cases their first national tournament. And I remember that feeling as a coach as well. And now obviously that's going to be denied. And listen, I was very disappointed. I worked very, very hard throughout this season. I had the great honor of calling the Big Ten championship game before everything was shut down. I did the Wisconsin at Indiana game for the big. I mean, think about that. That's an amazing opportunity, and I didn't take it for granted. And then I've got 4 games over 2 days where I'm prepared. I've got my graphics built. I got all my game notes done. I'm the whole thing. I'm ready to go. And literally within hours of tip off, I got a text from a radio station in Tennessee where I was supposed to do an interview that told me the tournament was canceled. And so that was disappointment. However, I really started thinking in terms of, okay, they've canceled these tournaments for a reason. And the reason is human life. And is there any game that's more important than even saving one human life? And I did think of my mother and my father who passed away over 6 years ago. And would I sacrifice those 4 games? Would I sacrifice the national tournament as a coach and as a player to help save?
That's fantastic. I don't know if there's a better way to say it than that. Mark Adams, ESPN college basketball analyst, author of The Coach and the Geek, Building a Kick Butt Culture. It's on Amazon.com. We appreciate you joining us and looking forward to chatting down the road next year when we actually get real basketball back.
My pleasure. Anytime, give me a call. And again, I'm sorry I was a little bit late getting to you.
No worries, my man. Appreciate it, and take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is Mark Adams joining us. Used to coach at Rocky Mountain College back in the 80s. Coached against Calvin Sampson. But I'm interested in reading this book. I'm going to tell the wife to order it. The Coach and the Geek, Building a Kick Butt Culture. And looking forward to reading that from Mark Adams. All right. Jesse Davis is going to join us when we return here on the Jason Walker Show. Looking forward to chatting with him. I believe it's an exclusive. His first interview since being released from the hospital. And more than a month and a half after a very almost deadly accident. We'll talk to Jesse when we come back. Don't forget, by the way, support for the Jason Walker Show comes in part from Manscaped. And we've been talking about Manscaped for a while, and they're fantastic. And here's why. Guys, you're going to want to be trimmed up, all right? Because the quarantines, the lack of social distancing, it's all going to end at some point. So you're going to want to look your best, head to toe. And that includes Manscaped, okay? Advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower 3.0 with the, it's unbelievable. It's the same replacement blade that in the 2.0, but now it's a 3.0, and it's premium. Why? Well, the battery lasts up to 90 minutes. You can take a longer shave. Don't freak out. But this is the before picture of Manscaped, and then once you get the Lawnmower 3.0, this is the after picture. Where is it? Come on, there we go. So I'm telling you, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the code WALKER20, WALKER20. We're coming right back. Jesse Davis will join us at last segment, brought to you by Rutgers Furniture. We're back with the PRCA legend next.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rutgers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rutgers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rutgers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Everyone knows about Dinner's Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinner's Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinner's Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back to The Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back. Final segment on a Thursday, Jason Walker Show. Big show tomorrow. We're going to talk to Barry Abrams. He is the host of In the Gate podcast, covers horse racing for ESPN. Going to get his thoughts on the move of the Kentucky Derby from May 5th to September 5th, and will it work? And what are they doing for the other Triple Crown races? So we'll talk to Barry Abrams tomorrow, and Flint Rasmussen will join us. PBR canceling Billings, a couple other events moving forward, and we'll get his thoughts on that and how weird it was to work in an empty arena last week in, where were they? Just outside Duluth, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. All right, make sure the snow is melting here in Helena. Over a month and a half ago that we first got the news that our good friend Jesse Davis had been hurt in a rodeo accident down in Utah. And we've been getting updates from his wife, Cassidy, on both Instagram and Facebook.
We just got done saying goodbye to my parents and like a lot of my family down here and stuff. And we've been here for so long. I was like, told my wife, I'm like, holy cow, it kind of got a little hard to leave.
Well, you are from that area, so yeah, I'm sure it's very hard to leave and seeing the folks. But I bet you can't wait to get back home to the family and obviously the little girls too.
Yeah, for sure. They're waiting patiently for us to get back home.
Well, I just saw them a couple weeks ago at a birthday party, and you know they're growing and they're doing well. But yeah, they're going to be happy to have Daddy home, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, imagine they probably grew 3 inches since I've seen them.
Probably, yeah. Jesse Davis joining us here. I guess the big question is, how you feeling, my man, after everything that's gone on over the last, 45 days or so?
Pretty good. I feel like I'm about, 50, 60% back to normal. I still got a tube in me that's kind of sucking some of that junk out from my liver, but I'm supposed to come back down here in about 3 weeks and get that taken out, and just a minor checkup deal. So hopefully in the next 3 weeks I could get moving around a lot better. I can walk and do about everything besides jumping jacks and stuff.
Yeah, don't be jumping up and down.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, do you remember the accident or I mean anything from what happened?
Yeah, I remember a horse coming back over on top of me. Like I was making a ride, and then I was falling off the side, and kind of felt like I pulled him over on top of me, but he might have just jumped on the side of me too. But I remember going through the wreck and then trying to get up, and I couldn't get up, and I knew exactly there was something going on inside of me that wasn't right at all, you know.
Right. Yeah. I
and
mean,
then I remember getting in the ambulance, and then that was about it.
I mean, when you look at the video, have you seen the video? Have you looked at it, or is it just too much that you can't?
I watched it once, and that's about all I wanted to watch, you know.
Well, yeah, definitely.
It was more like because I got bucked off.
Oh.
So I didn't want to put that negativity back in me.
Well, yeah, for sure. Jesse Davis joining us here, Jason Walker Show. Obviously, you've had a lot of thoughts and prayers and well wishes from everybody in the not just the rodeo world, but that cares about you and the family. Did you get a lot of those messages while you were in the hospital?
Oh yeah, I'm still trying to catch up on the phone and stuff, and my phone was been ringing off the hook, and everybody's so supportive and stuff, and especially my wife, her phone was going crazy too, and she had been with me the last 50 days through thick and thin, and my mom and dad, they were in there right beside me, and I mean, I was so blessed to have all these people saying, wishing me best of luck and prayers and stuff. And I don't know where to start to thank everybody,
Well, keeping up with Cassidy's, Instagram and Facebook posts has kept all of us up to date on how you were doing, and it was a blessing to see the results get positive and more positive. How many surgeries have you had total?
How many surgeries did I go through? 5.
5?
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I just had one. Yeah, I just had one on the 13th. That skin graft, because my wound had opened back up, and that's why I kind of had to spend a little bit more time in the hospital at the end of the healing deal. And so on the 13th, they did a skin graft on my belly, and now here in probably 6 months or maybe did surgery on my belly again.
Gotcha. Jesse Davis joining us here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. All right, the big question everybody wants to know is, well, aside from your feelings and how you're doing, but last ride, you're done?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done for.
Great career, though, and obviously now you get to go back to the ranch. I mean, this is it's a pleasure to talk with you. I'm just humbled right now because everything that, I've known you for a few years, and I got the chance to talk to Chase Erickson, one of your buddies, and he said he had an opportunity to speak with you as well. How many other cowboys did you hear from over the last, month and a half?
Oh, it's hard to say. It seems like I've talked to everybody that I could think of at the time, but and plus, I had some old cowboys come in there and visit me at the hospital and stuff that I hadn't seen since when I first started riding professionally and stuff. So that was quite the deal too. Is some of them old bull riders and stuff that I'd looked up to, they'd all stopped in and say hi and stuff. And did so much time in the hospital, so I was able to catch up with some guys and stuff, kind of give an update on.
Jesse Davis joining us here, Jason Walker Show, on his way back home to Montana finally, and obviously you married the right woman because she's done a whole lot over the last month and a half to take care of you. I joked with you the other day when we were texting, and I said your wife /manager, but
Yeah,
What a blessing to have Cassidy by your side, right?
that's for sure. Yeah, I'm one lucky guy. That's for sure. Like, I don't know what I'd do without her for sure.
Well, she is definitely an angel, keeping track of you, and she's going to be, she's always, I'm sure, been kind of a stickler for things, but now she's really going to be on you, to make sure you heal up properly, right?
That's right. Like you said, she's my manager, so she's making sure whatever's going in my body is the right stuff.
No doubt.
So that's a good thing. I always need to be, a person always needs to be checked up every once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, have you talked to J.R. Vizane at all? Because you spent a little bit of time at the same rehab unit that he was at, and obviously much different injuries. But have you talked to him at all about the process of getting better?
No, I just on Snapchat, we talk to each other on just keeping the faith and keep looking forward. And it's a long road. It can be a long road, but I never did talk to him over the phone or anything.
Gotcha.
Like his situation mine was pretty bad, but his was permanent.
Sure.
I was fortunate enough to at least walk out of the hospital.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Jesse Davis, a couple final questions. I know you're busy and it's a struggle at times, but how much of a process is this going to be? We know we have, at least a couple more surgeries coming up, but how much longer rehab did they tell you that this is going to be physically?
Well, I got one for sure surgery, and then they said that's not going to be very good because it'll be in the hospital for another 4 or 5 days. So, and I just got a checkup today, and they just told us to say that. I'm like, oh no, but it's gonna, it has to be done. So I can't try to bypass it by all means. But hopefully, everything keeps rolling and my body keeps keeping up like it has, and it should, I should be back in the fighting shape in no time.
And then what about the mental rehab? Because this isn't something that is easy to get over, I'm sure.
That's right. That's what they were saying when I was getting ready to leave the hospital. They said it was going to mess with your brain. And I'm like, is that true? But I've only had like 1 or 2 anxiety attacks. Like my chest was really hurting, but that's about it. Other than that, I wake up every morning and think of my lucky stars that I'm still alive. And so that always helps me push forward mentally and physically. So I take advantage of every day that comes around.
No question about that. Looking forward to seeing you at the different rodeos as we move forward. It'll be in a different capacity. And, if I ever get into broadcasting rodeos, you can be my color guy for me. You can be my Butch Knowles, and I'll be Jeff Metters.
Yeah, you bet. Anytime. I can do that.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I know that you got a long road ahead of you, but whatever we can do to help out and get the word out, we definitely want to. And, we'll be staying in touch with you as we get you 100% here, Jesse.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jason.
Take care and safe travels home, and give those little girls big hugs when you see them.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. That is Jesse Davis joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a home or an auto. It's not just a bundle or a combo. It's your home in auto, and Mike Miller understands that. Mike, he knows what they mean to you, and he's here to help you give them the protection they deserve. Talk to State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today for your home and auto insurance. Great to hear from Jesse Davis. And I know we've had some interruptions on YouTube and Facebook. This show will air in its entirety with no interruptions coming up as soon as we get off the air here momentarily. So just wanted to let you know, if you missed anything, you can go to jasonwalkershow.com and rewatch. You want to listen to Mark Adams or our interview with Jesse Davis. And
it's so good to know that he's headed back home to Montana now. A little bit of a drive from Spanish Fork, but heading home to Power and all the power with him and his family, because bless Cassidy for her updates all over this last month and a half, and bless Jesse and the whole family. It's going to be great to get him home to Montana. All right, let's do On This Day in History, because that is where we're at. On This Day in History is presented by the Motherlode Sports Bar, Casino, and Restaurant. The Motherlode, Dinner's Done Right, Cafe Zydeco, all three of our great food sponsors. Make sure you call and order to go from all of them, and that includes the Motherlode, Cafe Zydeco, Dinner's Done Right. Today, it is National Farm Rescuer Day. It is also National Let's Laugh Day, Certified Nurses Day, Chocolate Caramel Day, or caramel, Poultry Day, and in some areas, some calendars, spring officially begins today. Others, it's tomorrow. Others, it's the 21st, so who actually knows? But spring is starting soon. On this date in 1915, the 6th Summer Modern Olympic Games, IOC President Pierre de Coubertin wrote to the media, indicated the 1916 Berlin Games would not take place because of World War I. I wonder if the 2020 Games in Tokyo will take place because of COVID-19. 1931, Nevada legalized gambling, but now all the casinos are closed for 30 days. 1938, Toronto Maple Leafs scored 8 goals in 5 minutes. That's a lot. 1955, at the 17th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, San Francisco beat LaSalle 77-63. Future Hall of Fame center Bill Russell named the outstanding player. 1956, margin of victory in the NBA was the biggest at the time. The Minnesota Lakers or Minneapolis Lakers 133, St. Louis Hawks 75. That's a lot. 1960, the 22nd NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Ohio State beat Cal 75-55. Future Hall of Famer Jerry Lucas named outstanding player. In 1966, the 28th Basketball Championship, Texas Western beat Kentucky 72-65. First title and the first title game for the Miners. It was also under Coach Don Haskins. And that game's important because Coach Haskins started 5 black players in an NCAA championship game for the first time in history. It was immortalized in the movie Glory Road, with, I think it was Josh Lucas. Anyway, great movie, but a better story for Texas Western, which is now UTEP. 1972, the first AIAW women's basketball tournament took place. Immaculata beat Westchester State 52-48. That was the birth of NCAA women's basketball tournament. At the time, the AIAW. On this date in 1972, the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors 162-99, by then a record 63. So LA is good at beating teams back in the day, and, well, this year. 1987, Bonnie Blair skates a world record 500-meter, 39.43 seconds. And happy birthdays today. 1848, Wyatt Earp was born in Monmouth, Illinois. Died in 1929. 1864, happy birthday, Charles M. Russell. Charles Marion Russell, born on this date in 1864, died in 1926. You know the name, CMR. 1914, Jay Berwanger was born, Hall of Famer for college football. He was the first Heisman Trophy winner in 1935, born in Iowa, passed away in 2002. So there's a couple of little things there for you, and let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
All right, make sure you go buy the book on Amazon. It's called The Coach and the Geek by Mark Adams. We thank Mark for joining us to talk about the world of sports and college basketball moving forward. And also, big thanks to Jesse Davis, heading home finally after a long time, a month and a half in the hospital. He'd been in a coma, the big injury, 50 days ago or so, and lost half his liver, 21 pints of blood to save Jesse, and bless him and Cassidy and the kids, and he's coming home to Montana. So safe travels home, my friend. And we'll talk to you soon. Tomorrow on the show, Flint Rasmussen will join us. Talk about the PBR getting canceled. And how weird was it last week to work in Georgia with nobody in the stands? We'll also talk to Barry Abrams, ESPN horse racing analyst, as we wrap up the week on a Friday. Stay safe, wash your hands, and hang out with your family. Jason Walker Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 4. Have yourself a great Thursday.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.